right, everybody. Let's just jump right into it. Get you live out to Starlight, Indiana, where if you look closely, very, very closely, it's not as pronounced as it was a few minutes ago, but there is still a hint of one rainbow, and there was a double rainbow a few minutes ago. But that means we've got some downpours out there tonight. Carson Meredith with you in the Wave Now studios. We are going to talk about these downpours. They should be fading away soon, but we'll give you a radar check. And we'll just talk about what's ahead for the week. Pretty much classic August weather. Hot, humid, stormy at times. And that'll be the trend for a while, unfortunately, or fortunately, whether you like the heat or not. We'll also talk about maybe the risk for a drought developing. There's some hints that there might be trouble in the next couple of weeks. And we'll also look at the tropics, becoming more and more confident that we will have Aaron in the tropics very, very soon, maybe as soon as tomorrow, potentially. But we'll start off with that live view one more time from our Starlight, Indiana camera. And you can still see that main rainbow right there in the heart of the shot. I posted it on our Wave Weather social media pages a few minutes ago. There was a fairly pronounced double rainbow. The second rainbow was just to the right of the main one. It's not really there anymore, but that's because we have a downpour moving through the knobs as we speak. A pretty sizable downpour, not too far away from our SkyTrack camera. That's why you see it shaking just a little bit. 89 is our current temperature in Louisville, by the way. And radar, as you look at the big picture, doesn't look that bad. And as expected, it was only a 10% storm chance today. But what makes today different from yesterday is that 10% chance has mainly focused closer to Louisville, whereas we didn't see much at all around the metro yesterday. So if you look at the top of the map here, you can see really two areas of downpours we're watching. One of which is in eastern Clark County into far northern Oldham County, up there near Skylight and Greenhaven. And then you have this other pocket of downpours in the knobs out over Floyd County, along Highway 150, close to Hubers. Hubers is right about here, right on the periphery of the SkyTrack, or the circle I drew here, near Greenville. So that camera is pointed south and east towards the heaviest rain. And it's got the sun behind it. That's how you had the rainbow. Double rainbow, in fact, just a few minutes ago. There have been a couple of lightning bolts with this activity, especially the stuff in Floyd County, but nowhere near severe at all. But as expected, there were going to be that risk, if you will, for a few of these downpours to bubble up, and sure enough, they did. Not everywhere, but where they did, it was closer to where a lot of folks live here in Wave Country. So we'll continue to monitor these storms as we go through the evening. They're drifting, well, honestly, they're really not drifting anywhere. They're just kind of meandering around. Put radar in a loop over the last 3 hours. You can see they're just kind of really sitting, chilling out in Floyd County and eastern Clark County, also into Oldham County too. Most of these should be gone, I'd say, by 9 o'clock. We get past 9, and these downpours should fade away very, very quickly after that, if they're still around by that point. But still, just be careful if you're going to be heading out this evening, especially in Floyd and Clark County. Some of those downpours in Floyd, in particular, are trying to sneak into West Louisville, right on the Ohio River, out towards Shawnee Park, Chickasaw Park, into Portland as well. So we'll see if we can maybe have an outflow boundary try to develop from this downpour and maybe set off additional downpours further into Louisville. We'll wait and see. But at this stage of the game, it's just Floyd and Clark County in particular that are seeing these downpours for the most part. It's only a 10% chance, but those 10% chances are right over the city, it seems, this evening. Check the comments real quick, and then we'll move right along with our chat tonight. Scott says, hello, Crispy's here. Scott asks, when will y'all be at the fair? We will be there Tuesday what is that, Tuesday the 19th? We'll be there on Tuesday the 19th. So come on out. We'll be in the South Wing. I'm not sure what part of the South Wing. I can't remember. But we'll be in the South Wing. Stop by. Or the South Wing lobby. The South Wing lobby. Right as you walk in. We'll be right there in the doors. So come by, say hi. I'll be there for a couple hours that day. And we'd love to have you. We'd love to see you. Say hi. Put a face to the names that always chime into our chats here on Wave Weather Now. Anita, hello, hello. Can't wait for the rain to get here. We do still have some rain chances to come this week, but not everybody's going to see that rain. Just like tonight, 90% of you are not seeing rain tonight. And if you go the entire week without seeing rain, there may be some drought concerns that start to develop. We'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. Angela's here, Reagan's here, Shonda's here. Chunky on YouTube is here. Gary says, hi and dry in Pee Wee Valley. Yeah, nothing in Pee Wee Valley. Most of the action is just north of you, Gary, up there in far northern Oldham. Kathy says, hello from Trimble County. Lori's got some sprinkles in Ekron. Thank you for that report. Kathy wants a little raindrop in Trimble County. It'll be close. Maybe that cell just south of you tries to sneak into Trimble, but it might fade away before it gets there. John says hello. Albert says hi. Lori, is New Albany going to see any rain? Most of it for now, most of that rain in Floyd County is just a little too far away from New Albany. It's kind of surrounding you, Lori. Let me draw New Albany highlighted on the map here, right here. So you got a heavier downpour just south of you, and you got a heavier downpour just north of you. We'll see if we can get any more downpours develop right on top of New Albany here in the next few minutes. But time is running out for that to happen. So it's a wait-and-see game, unfortunately. Crispy, not sure if you guys have a suggestion inbox. I guess here, any of our social media. It would be nice to have a stream sometime that is just general weather questions about things like terminology, how systems work, things like that. Hey, I'm game. We can certainly start finding ways to incorporate those kind of chats. We're always looking for different ways to interact with you guys and talk weather, and yeah, that's certainly something that at least I'd be open to. Maybe it's something we can get cooked up here in the next few months or years. We'll wait and see. But yeah, that's a good idea, Crispy. Thanks for that. All right. So again, just a small downpour chance, especially if you live in Floyd and Clark County, it appears at the moment. But most of these downpours should be gone, I'd say, in the next 60 to 90 minutes. So no later than 9 or 9:30. We'll be in good shape for the rest of the night. Temperatures, you could tell where those downpours have flared up or where the outflows from those downpours have gone. Like LaGrange, where it's down to 77. Here in Louisville, last check at the airport, 89. Those downpours are just far enough away from the airport to keep it warm here in the city. It's 84 in Jeff. Again, cooler air from those downpours. 86 in Mumfordville, 90 in Fort Knox, 89 up in Salem. And it's 88 in Seymour. We got up to 92 so far here in Louisville today. And overnight tonight, it's going to stay warm and muggy. Same old, same old. To be completely honest with you guys, I did not have to change anything on this graphic besides the low temperature number. 74, our forecast low tonight. Mostly clear, muggy, warm, same old, same old. Monday, we're going to do it all over again. 93 tomorrow, feeling like 97 to 98 when you add in that humidity. And there will once again, just like today, be that 10% chance for some stray downpours to develop around this time, really, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock on Monday. Just a 10% chance. A lot of you will stay dry tomorrow, but if you do see rain, it could be heavier, just as we mentioned a few minutes ago. Let's jump to Tuesday. A lot of kiddos heading back to school on Tuesday. Obviously, JCPS is already back, but there are plenty more districts still to come. Louisville Catholic schools are back on Tuesday. E-Town, Bullitt County, Trimble County, Marion, Hart, Taylor counties, Collegiate here in Louisville, South Harrison schools, all heading back on Tuesday. And the reason we're focusing on Tuesday back to school forecast is because we'll have better storm chances on Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon specifically. We're going to bump it up to a 30% chance, especially as those kids are heading home on Tuesday afternoon. So they won't need the rain gear Tuesday morning in all likelihood. It'll be warm, it'll be muggy, they need the water. But the rain gear will be needed for some after school on Tuesday. And as we've talked about this weekend, we're kind of going to be in a squeeze play the middle of this week with a front trying to drift in from the north and west and tropical moisture coming in from the south, from the Gulf. That squeeze play, if you will, is going to bump up those thunderstorm chances starting on Tuesday and especially going into Wednesday and possibly Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look to be the wettest. Here's Futurecast for Tuesday and Tuesday only. 1 p.m., see some of those scattered downpours getting going. And we'll just kind of have to dodge those downpours through the afternoon on Tuesday. In other words, there's going to be a few more downpours by Tuesday compared to what we've had this weekend and what we'll likely have on Monday. It's about a 30% chance. We may not be able to completely wipe out those rain chances Tuesday night, but in general, most of the action should start to fade once we lose the heat of the day on Tuesday. The next big weather maker, that's kind of the beginning of it on Tuesday, as we get into Wednesday, excuse me, here comes that moisture, that more muggy air coming in from the south. Front's still way up here between Kansas City and Chicago, drifting south and east. And here in wave country, we'll kind of be in that squeeze between the two. So for us, that means Wednesday has the highest shower and storm chance at this point, around 40%. There's not much of a severe threat here. No alert day or anything like that on Wednesday. The main issue would be these slow-moving downpours that may cause some minor flooding. That's the primary concern, especially on Wednesday itself. But there's not a huge severe weather threat at this point. But we'll watch the trends. Now, the question marks start to come up on Thursday, because you're going to have this front really the closest it's going to be to us on Thursday. Remember, this front's not moving through. It's just going to hang around. And the question is, where exactly does this front stall? If it stalls on top of us, like in southern Indiana, then that would kind of compress that tropical moisture a little further south. And that would help to limit our storm chances on Thursday. But if that front decides to stop up near Indianapolis instead, then that leaves the door open for more of that tropical moisture to still be around on Thursday. And if that scenario were to play out, we may have to bump back up those storm chances on Thursday. Right now, I'm leaning towards the first idea, which is where the front's going to stall out, let's say near Seymour, Scottsburg. That kind of compresses the most muggy air, if you will, further south. And while we can't completely wipe out the storm chances on Thursday, that would at least limit the storm coverage we do see. And you know, to be honest, guys, we're we're just kind of splitting hairs here. It's just August pop-up storms after all. But at this point, I don't expect to see quite as many storms on Thursday as what we'll see Tuesday and Wednesday. But stay tuned throughout the week for updates. We get into Friday. That front goes back to the north. It decides it doesn't want to move through wave country. And for us, we will be left with a hot and humid air mass with nothing to really set off scattered storms. But because it's so hot and humid, kind of like this weekend, we can't totally take out that storm chance as we head into next weekend. So we'll have to watch for a few more showers and storms for the first half of the state fair. You notice on Thursday, right now it's a 20% chance. But again, if that front gets hung up a little further north, then we may have to increase that storm chance to around 30, maybe 40% on Thursday, but we'll keep it at 20 for now. Beyond Thursday, Friday and into next weekend, just your classic state fair weather. Hot, humid, highs in the lower 90s, feels like temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, and just that 20% chance each day for a few of those scattered downpours. But I certainly wouldn't let that keep you away from the Expo Center next weekend. It is state fair time after all. Now, the big question obviously is going to be, especially Tuesday and Wednesday, how much rain can we get? And not everybody's going to see this rain. Some of you guys could be really, really unlucky and not see a single drop of rain this entire week. That is very possible. Others could see multiple heavy downpours this week. Maybe you saw one yesterday. Maybe you're in Floyd County. You're seeing a heavy downpour now. Maybe you see one tomorrow, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday, and then maybe Thursday. Then you don't have to worry as much about heavy rain, right? But I think a lot of us will see dry time, a lot of dry time this week. And that makes me a little nervous about drought developing. We've been really lucky so far this summer because we've had plenty of hot weather, yes, but we've also had these stretches where we've had quite a bit of rain, heavy rain at that. When you factor in that more active pattern this summer, combined with the insane amount of rain and snow that we had at the beginning of the year, we've been able to avoid a drought so far. But as you look at the latest drought monitor, you notice this area highlighted in yellow down across Marion County, Taylor, Greene, and Adair County that is starting to get abnormally dry. And that's kind of the precursor to a drought. That can be wiped out quickly, especially if you guys down near Campbellsville and Columbia see multiple rounds of storms this week. But if you don't, then that drought concern starts to go up. Everybody else is okay for now, but if we don't see a lot of storm action this week, or we don't see as much as we think we will, then we could get dry pretty quick around here because the trends are pretty dry and hot heading into next weekend. So that's just something to keep in the back of your minds as we head on through the rest of the month of August. That's the story here at home. I'll show you the 10-day in a second. But let's go to the tropics, because a lot of you want to know about this. And if you have any questions about the tropics or anything about what we talked about tonight, make sure you send it in the comments. This system off the west coast of Africa is getting its act together. It actually looks pretty good, to be honest with you, just kind of looking at it on satellite right now. It is almost a guarantee that it's going to become a tropical system. Give you the updated numbers here. This yellow blob, by the way, I still really don't think we have to worry about it. It's only a 20% chance, so quite honestly, let's just ignore the yellow blob. Let's focus on the red. 50-50 shot of becoming a tropical system in the next 48 hours. Again, I think it will be possibly tomorrow night, maybe more likely Tuesday. And this is still something that we need to watch for the eastern U.S. What I will tell you, though, is that trend continues to be that this system will keep going through the Atlantic and will get kicked back and recurve away from the eastern U.S., possibly as a major hurricane. So if that recurve does not happen, we're going to have problems on the East Coast sometime next week. The week of the 18th, 19th, 20th. But if this recurve happens, hopefully we can kick it away and keep it away from the U.S. in about 10 days. We will watch the trends closely because it is still way too early to give the East Coast of the U.S. an all clear from this. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be a problem, but if you guys follow along with tropical weather, that can change very, very quickly. So we got to keep watching this thing as it moves further and further into the Atlantic. Again, right now, latest models are keeping it off the shore, off the east coast of the U.S., but that can certainly still change as we get closer. So stay tuned. And it's not just this system. It's not just this one. Look at this other red blob you see right over the western part of Africa, the bottom right corner of your screen. That is likely going to wind up being another wave that develops right on the heels of the first one. And that, too, could also be trouble as we get towards the 23rd and 24th of August, so in about 2 weeks. So it's just going to be like one after another, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as we head into the rest of August and eventually September, it appears. But that's where the tropics stand at this stage of the game. Erin, E-R-I-N, is the next name on the list, and I am almost certain we will have Erin with this storm either tomorrow or Tuesday. And we'll just wait and see if it will recurve away from the U.S. That's what the trends are right now, but that can obviously still change, so stay tuned. All right, 10-day is coming up now, and we will answer your questions. Comments have gotten quiet. Hopefully I haven't bored you all too much. Gary has a good comment here. Carson has a forecast on autopilot. Not totally, but I get what you're saying, Gary. You're right to an extent. It's just the same thing, you know, hot, humid, and at times stormy, right? So same old for this time of year. The wettest days still look to be Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday's kind of a wait and see deal. Right now I'm leaning drier for Thursday, but that might change, so stay tuned. Next weekend is plain hot. You see the end of the 10-day. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, those storm chances go up. There are some indications a front does move through around that time, around the 19th or 20th. And that might give us some temperature relief. Not a false fall, not a big chill or anything like that, but it at least might knock down the temperatures into the 80s for the middle of next week and beyond. So that's something we'll keep an eye on down the road. But until then, we got a lot of 90s on the way. Lots of 90s. This could very well be the longest heat wave we've had so far this summer. We've had 8-day heat waves twice, here in Louisville at least. This one looks like we're on day 3 today, and based on the 10-day right there, that would be another 9 days potentially in a row coming up in the 90s. So hang in there. Fall's almost here, 43 days away. We're getting there, one day at a time. I'm talking more to myself right there than you guys, but I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. Let's see. Lori, any concern about the Knobs or New Albany getting fog this week? You know, tomorrow morning, Lori, since you have those downpours in the Knobs right now, that could give you a little bit of fog in Floyd County tomorrow morning. So, and that's for anybody. If you saw heavier rain today, or this evening, you're seeing it, be careful. Make sure you don't run into some of that dense fog. Shouldn't be a major problem, but because of all the mugginess in the air, it wouldn't take much for some fog at least to develop in the morning. So just be careful, but most folks will be in good shape. Crispy, is a later hurricane season better since the sun has calmed down a bit, or is it worse since the water's had more time to heat to its limits? The latter. That's at least part of the reason why the most active parts of hurricane season are in September and October, because the water's really warmed up, and a lot of these systems, if they can get in the right environment, they can thrive. So that's why we keep cautioning, like, yeah, it's been a really slow start to the season, but we're nowhere near the peak yet. We still got another month, I think, until the peak in September. So September and October will probably be pretty busy. Maybe late August, the way it's looking. Angela, if Aaron makes it into the Gulf and then head towards Pensacola, that's a big if, right? But it's possible. What are the odds that two different storms with the same name would make landfall in the same location? Well, I hadn't thought about that, Aaron. You're right. Or Angela. I hadn't thought about that with Aaron. That's a good point. I'd have to go back and look. I would imagine to have two storms with the same name make the same landfall would be pretty rare. That would be pretty rare. But I'd have to go back and look at the records to be totally certain. I don't see this being I don't see it being a Gulf threat at this point. I'm hopeful that it will just recurve back out into the Atlantic. That's what it looks like it wants to do, but obviously that can change, so we'll keep watching it. DJ King's here from North Vernon. Can you please give us the cool weather? I'm trying, man. I'm trying. This should be proof that we don't control the weather. Because if I could, it would be 70s and sunny every day. It'd be like San Diego. But it is what it is. Shonda, if Aaron does make it to the U.S., is there a chance we get remnants, or is it too far out? Too far out. It's too early to say at this point. We'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, it's just too early to say. If it did get to the U.S., at least based on when the models back on Friday were suggesting it might get to the U.S., and it was going to be more of an East Coast storm. It would just go right up the eastern seaboard and not really mess with us at all. I would imagine if it were to get back closer to the U.S., that would be what would happen, is it just kind of right up the eastern seaboard and not be an issue for us. But again, that's just speculation. It's too early to know for sure. Let's see. Lauren's a fan of the heat. Keep it coming. Hey, fair enough, Lauren. Everybody's got their own taste. Not my thing, but I know a lot of people love summer, so that's all right. Let's see. Jeremy, drought starting down in the Lake Cumberland area. Yeah, we were talking about areas near Lake Cumberland a minute ago, right? How does the rest of August and September look for rainfall? I haven't had the chance to look at September yet. I will tell you, aside from that system that you see at the end of the 10-day here, for next Tuesday and Wednesday, it looks fairly dry. And obviously at times it will be hot. And that's kind of a bad combo, dry and persistently hot. That's not a good combo for a drought to develop. Usually happens pretty quick when that happens. So we'll watch it, no doubt. A lot of things to watch long term, for sure. Let's see. Brandon's here. Any cooler weather? If we get a cool down, it'll just be the 80s instead of the 90s, and it won't be a false fall. It'll be just muggy 80s instead of muggy 90s, unfortunately. Gary, radar check. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was going to plan on doing that anyway. Let me do it right now. Because we still got a few of those downpours out there. Should load up here in just a second. And there we go. So it looks like most of those downpours are starting to fade, which is good. We're dry here in the city, maybe a couple sprinkles, that's all. Still holding on to a couple downpours on the Floyd-Clark County line. There's also still that one right there on I-64 near the Lee-Hamilton intersection there in Floyd County. And we still got this downpour in far, far northern Oldham County and eastern Clark County, too. These should continue to fade over the next hour. And we should be quiet the rest of the night once these do fade. Let's check the rest of the area. I saw this one downpour near Paoli fired up while we were chatting tonight. Just a good old downpour, no lightning. But right there between French Lick and Paoli, quick little burst of heavy rain at the moment. And as we zoom back out, further to the south, a couple little blips still showing up near Holy Cross in Marion County, Kentucky, near Loretto. And another burst just north of Lebanon, maybe some sprinkles over Springfield too. So it's just very, very small, very concentrated little blips on the map. Most of these, if not all of these, should be gone within the hour. Put radar in a loop. You can see they bubbled up, and they'll slowly but surely fade shortly. But do be careful if you fall under one of these downpours. Might lose your visibility if you're out driving in it. So that's where we are, guys. It's August. I'm doing my best to make it sound different and interesting. But you can only do so much when the pattern is so stagnant like it is. But we got low 90s, and that's here to stay a while. That's here to stay, even with some storm chances by the middle of the week. All right, that's going to do it for now, guys. Hope you have a good week. I'll be back next weekend, as always. Brian should be here with Storm Talk tomorrow morning. And off we go with another week. If you're still up tonight at 11, I hope you'll join me on Wave News at 11. We didn't have our news at 6 tonight because golf went late. But if you're still up and you want to watch the old school TV news, tune in at 11. I'll have an update look at your forecast. And if not, the rest of the crew will be here throughout the week. So we track the heat, we track the storms, and we eventually track Erin as she makes her way closer to the U.S. this week. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. I will see you guys next weekend. Take care.